Welcome. This is 2.2 Algebra of Functions, and this is continuation of worked problems. This is part 2. Alright, so before I go too far, I want to point out that we have a couple of functions here, and they both have fractions in them. If you take a look, these are not going to have the same common denominator, so we're going to have to figure one out. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write this all out completely. Alright, so I'm going to have my g, which is 2 fifths x plus 6. That's my g. And then I'm asked to add my h, which is a 1/3 x minus 2. Alright, so those are the two. I'm going to go ahead and group these. The whole thing is now going to be one set of parentheses. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these parentheses in between. So here I'm going to have my 2/5x plus 1/3 x plus 6 minus 2. If you take a look, all I did was I moved these guys around a little bit. So I moved this over here, and everything else just kind of stayed where it was. So I'm going to collect these two, and then I'm going to need to figure out a common denominator. Alright, so here I am going to say my 2/5 x plus 1/3 x plus 4. Alright, so here I'm going to multiply through by 5. Or I'm sorry, 15, because I got to have my 5 times 3. Those are the 15 would be the least common denominator. So I'm going to multiply everything through by 15. So 15 times my 2/5 x and my 1/3 x plus 4. Alright, and so here, when I take my 15 and I multiply it times there, I get a 30 divided by 5, which is going to give me a 6x, right? So here I have my, here I'm going to go ahead and cancel this, so it becomes a 5, right? That becomes a 1. And then here, this is going to become when I have 15 times 1, that's going to get me 15 divided by 3 is going to get me 5x plus 15 times 4 is going to get me 60. So I'm going to go ahead and here this becomes maybe I should just rewrite it as so this is going to be a 2/5 times 3. Where am I here? There we go. Times 3. And then here I'm going to have a times 5, and that's going to cancel. Alright, so here I have my sum is 11x plus 60. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and scroll on down. Here I have a fancy pants one. I'm going to have my, I'm going to use my g minus f. So my g is going to give me my 8x squared plus 3x plus 2. Okay, so this is my g. And now I'm going to subtract my f. So my f is going to be the 5x squared minus 13x plus 6. And then I'm going to go ahead and distribute that negative all the way through. So I'm going to just bring this first part down, so that becomes an 8x squared plus 3x plus 2 minus 5x squared plus 13x, right? Because the negative times the negative is going to give me my positive. And then I'm going to have a negative 6. All right. At this point, I'm going to start using my commutative property and moving things around. All right, so I'm going to have my 8x squared minus 5x squared. All right, so I have this one taken care of and this one taken care of. And keep in mind that when I'm doing this, I have to keep the sign that's in front of the number. So this is why it's negative 5x squared. So I'm going to have a plus 3x plus a 13x. So there's this one and there's this one. And then I'm going to have a plus 2 and a minus 6. All right, so I've got all of my pieces rewritten. I'm going to go ahead and collect my like terms here. I've got a 3x squared plus 16x minus 4. And that's as far as we can go. All right. Oops. My screen is deciding to do its own thing here. Here I'm going to go ahead and do a division problem. I'm going to take my f of x and divide it by the g of x. I'm going to remind everybody 12x to the third plus 15x squared minus 6x, all of that being divided by 3x. All right, and I'm going to take and I'm going to divide everything by the 3x. Here I have, if I divide by 3, I'm going to wind up with a 4, and then this and this one of these will cancel, so this becomes a 2. Here I have my 3 divided by 15, dividing into 15, so that's going to become a 5. And then my x squared just becomes a plain old x. And then here, this becomes a negative 2. And then my x just disappears, right? So that becomes an x to the 0. So these are all canceled out everywhere. And where did I go here? And then this and this cancel out to be a 1. All right, so I have my solution then is going to be 4x squared plus 5x minus 2. All right. Now remember, I'm gonna put my little caveat here that my x cannot equal 0, right? Because if I have 0 here, it's going to become undefined, and we can't have that. All right, let's see where we're at. Let's see if we can get one more done. In this case, I'm multiplying through by a constant. I'm multiplying by a negative 3/4, right? So I have a negative 3 times a 1/4, and I'm going to have my 16x minus 12. All right, and just so that you can see what I did, I pulled this apart. So the 3 is going to be just the negative, or the negative 3 here is here, and then if I were to pull this apart, so I have a 1/4, right? If I were to multiply this across, this would give me exactly that. So why I'm doing this, though, is it might be easier for me to cancel some 4's out of there and not worry so much about, you know, that, and then go ahead and do my multiplication kind of after the fact. So here I'm going to cancel out my 16, and that's going to become a 4. This 12 is going to become a 3, and this becomes a 1. All right, so now I'm multiplying by a negative 3, and I'll rewrite this. So I have a negative 3 multiplying my 4x minus 3. That's going to give me a negative 12x plus 9. And that's it. All right, I'm going to stop this one, and then we can pick up for our next video.